Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for joining me today. My name is Jean Pam, and I've been training dogs since 1969. I am a 5 foot tall, obviously female, and this is Team Peaches Dog Training and Education. I am the trainer and educator here at Team Peaches. Today I want to address something that is very important to me, and I consider something that needs to be said. I don't like putting down other trainers. I don't like targeting other trainers for their methods and such, but I have to come out and say this. Zac George, your rants and your obsession with the purely positive methods of training is highly dangerous. The way you are going about attacking other trainers for doing things differently than you are, I am going to say this quite honestly, is borderlines on mental illness. You are obsessed. I have never ever seen you work with a Cairn Corso. I have never seen you work with a Mastiff or any other dog of that type. I have seen videos of you working with your own dog, and your dog growls at you. That is unbelievable for a trainer to have their own dog growl at them during a training session. Wow. Sir, you only have one dog that I've seen so far, and you obviously have very little control over it. I personally have 7 dogs. They range from Border Collie, Jack Russell mixes, all the way up to Catahoula Australian cattle dogs, American Foxhound, and Catahoula. I have 3 Pit Bull mixes that are also with Lab and Jack Russell. I have dogs that range from all sorts of temperaments. And sir, I have complete control over them. As a matter of fact, I'm sitting here in my bedroom where I have to do most of my recordings, my videotaping. I have 7 dogs in this room. 7. And they range from 30 pounds all the way up to 63. They are not kenneled. They choose to go in there and lay down in their kennels. There is no barking, no craziness, nothing. And sir, let me give you a small example. Everybody is totally chilled out. The 2 dogs you just saw there, the one in the kennel and the one laying closest to the kennel on the floor, are brother and sister. I've had them for 2 months. These dogs came to me for biting issues and aggression. I did not teach them what you just saw there with treats. So you know very little about dog psychology. I'm sorry, but you don't. You are on this soapbox about purely positive training. You are loud, you're pushy, and to some degree you're a bit of a bully. If you cannot control one dog, how do you expect to actually call yourself a trainer? Sir, I honestly feel that you need to do some serious studying and understand how dogs work. Get off your soapbox. Get rid of all the stuff that you think you know and get real. Ladies and gentlemen, all who are watching this, dogs do not function like we do. Their world is binary. Yes, no. Safe, not safe. Acceptable, not acceptable. If you've ever watched more than one dog together, and in this case I'm making a reference to my pack, my dogs are constantly correcting one another, and they use aversive methods. If someone isn't paying attention to signals that are being put out by dog A will set out a growl. If dog B does not listen, then dog A will snap and bare its teeth and make a contact. If dog B is still not listening and does not back off, dog A will actually bite. I don't interfere. I learn by watching the dogs. And it is not, sir, the way you go about telling people on the internet how to train their dogs. My dogs live in peace. Occasionally they get a correction. Note how quiet it is in here. Everybody's just chilled out. Yes, I use e-collars, and they work when they're used correctly. They are not some horrendous torture device that you, sir, and other trainers like you try to make them out to be. I think they're extremely important when they're used correctly, and I cannot overemphasize that. Prong collars are the same thing. There's nothing more than a communication device. You don't slap these collars on and start punching buttons and zapping your dog. And that is, sir, is how people like yourself have put it out there. That's why people are afraid to use these collars and afraid to use prong collars. Because of misuse, because of lack of guidance and lack of information and training when using these tools. And so now they are demonized all over the internet by people like yourself, sir. I commented on one of your videos, and you were very gracious and you responded to that accordingly. But when I asked you about how would you go about controlling a pack of 7 dogs, and I gave you all the breeds, sir, you did not respond back. When a fight breaks out, it does occasionally happen, you did not respond back. Sir, I'll give you an example. And folks, you may be interested in hearing this. So I made a video of my lovely client Diane, who was gracious enough to give me an interview here on YouTube. I went to her house yesterday. She has this wonderful German Shepherd puppy who's 8 months old. She doesn't have a lot of experience with other dogs, so she hasn't learned the social cues and such as of yet. I took Peaches and my dog Prince, Peaches is my Border Collie and Jack Russell mix, hence Team Peaches dog training. And I also took Prince, who is almost 2 years old, and he is a Catahoula, an American Foxhound. He's a big boy, 63 pounds. They were waiting in my Jeep. I had the windows rolled down just far enough where Prince could not get out. Peaches, I don't worry about her because she's the bomb. That's why she's the star. And Prince is cool around other dogs and such, but when they get too close to the Jeep, then he'll react. He'll begin barking and warning them off, telling them to get away, don't come any closer. That is normal dog behavior. And that's what I want him to do. Sheba, my client's dog, I was talking to my client. Sheba had on a training leash, which was 3 feet long, and she was also wearing a prong collar. Very small one. Small prongs about so big, not like this, but very, very small. And she was out being happy, running around, checking out everything in the yard, fenced-in yard. And she knew that there were dogs in my Jeep, so she went over, and she got curious. And Prince warned her off. She ignored the warning. She jumped up on the side of my Jeep at the window where Prince was. And to let a long story shorten it considerably, they got into a fight. Fangs biting each other in the face, etc. I turned to my client, Diane. I said, don't worry, I've got this. Her husband, Dennis, became concerned, very concerned, because there's this fight going on. And I said, don't worry about it, I've got this. I just calmly walked down the stairs, went over to my Jeep, and in my most forceful dog training voice that said, knock it off, I'm not going to have any more of this, I said, and I quote, "Hey! Done!" And I stared ahead at each dog just like that. What happened? Prince immediately backed off. He went back to his place where he's supposed to be in my Jeep. And the German Shepherd pup She was not scared, she was just startled more than anything. Prince went to his place where he's supposed to be. I calmly walked over, picked up the training leash, and I told Sheba, let's go. Come. We quietly walked up the stairs. She laid down next to me, and that was the end of it. Zac, how would you have broken up that dog fight? Trust me, treats definitely would not have done that. I am 5 feet tall. I'm 68 years old, and I am a force to be reckoned with. My dogs get incredible love and positive reinforcement. And the same that applies when I'm working with clients' dogs. As I explained to Diane, I have no problem putting my foot down hard if it's necessary. Robert Cabral, Tom Davis, Larry Crone, and there's other trainers out there who are absolutely amazing. Joel Beckman, Will Atherton, and the list goes on and on and on. Folks, these people know what they're doing. Please understand that when we're working with dogs are pack animals. They are hunters. They're predators. Dogs do not think like humans. This does not mean that you should ever be cruel to a dog or unkind to them. Dogs can handle a correction if it's done correctly. What do I mean? You tell your dog no, the dog ignores you, you enforce that no, it's done and over with. Now you go on to something else. It's simple. Yes, no, on, off, correction, peace. Binary. It's not difficult, folks. Dogs thrive on knowing that they did the right thing. But anyway, guys, I had to put this out. Please don't listen to Zac George and his ramblings. He has the potential of destroying the dog training world. He, like a lot of other folks, went to put a ban on all of the tools. And that means there's going to be a lot of dogs that are going to be put down and killed. People who honestly know what they're doing, it's going to destroy their careers. It's going to affect their families. And most of all, it's going to affect the dogs. Okay, Zac George, you are harming dogs in the long run. Initially, maybe not. But in the long run, you are not only harming dogs, but you're going to be hurting their humans. Dogs will only do so much for a treat, and then there's nothing. If you don't have the treat or the proper motivations, what is going to happen is they're going to ignore you. In reality, dogs jump out of cars into traffic if they're not properly trained. In reality, dogs will run up to another dog, which is extremely rude and threatening, and possibly get killed or kill another animal. And treats don't work. They're going to ignore you in the long run. It makes for good videos, fun videos to look at, but that's all it is. There's nothing real about this. So I'm sorry to be so harsh and such, but like I said, I'm a realistic trainer. I use common sense. And I've been training dogs longer than you have been alive, Zac, and trainers like you. For everybody else, thank you so much for watching, and forgive my long rant here. If I seem angry, I am. I just feel it is such a huge disservice. And I want to thank you for hanging in there with me. And any comments that you may have below, please, good, bad, conflictory, or whatever, please feel free to listen below. I will read them, and I'm not going to delete them. I mean, it's okay if you disagree with me. But if you disagree, please do so on the fact that you really know dogs. You truly understand them, and not just a knee-jerk response. If you honestly understand what you are talking about, if you have that experience with dogs, I am more than willing to hear what you have to say. And until next time, remember, if you don't train them, you can't blame them for their bad behavior. Thanks again, and we'll see you next time.